Alrighty, let's get started. Thanks everybody for coming out tonight. We've got a smaller contingent tonight. It's about like half the amount of people that are usually in here when we get started, but I think some more people will trickle in, and it is like right before the holidays, so we'll probably have a smaller group.
And half the number of presentations.
And half the number of presentations, or 3, so 3 out of 5. But welcome to A2NewTech. This is the last of 2019. Next time we'll meet will be in 2020. I'm your host, David Nesbitt. I manage an incubator of EdTech tools at U of M, just a few blocks away. And this meetup has been running since 2009, so this is our 10th anniversary year. And since then, we've had 100 plus meetups. We've had 350 plus companies. There's over 7,500 members in the meetup group, and last year we had almost 60 pitches. So it's a really engaged group, a lot of new people coming in and out of the group, and a great place to come and meet the other people that are building the future of tech in Arbor in the area. So before I start, we've been doing a little something lately to help people get a sense of who's here. So I'll ask you to raise your hand if this description matches you, and then leave it up for a couple seconds so people can look around and see who they might want to connect with. So raise your hand if you're an entrepreneur currently. Wait a second or two, look around, try to connect with other entrepreneurs. How about if you're wanting to start a venture? Maybe that's like some of the entrepreneurs are also doing that. So it's another side hustle. Wanting to, let's see, investors in the audience. All right, undercover investors probably. Marketers, a couple marketers in the audience. Designers, nice, and software developers. Cool. So we got a handful of different people. Maybe reach out, connect with someone else who's got a similar interest or similar background as you. So a little bit of a reminder what this monthly time is all about. So we meet every third Tuesday of the month, and this allows us to connect with what's happening in the Ann Arbor tech community. In the pitches, to know about what are the companies that are being built here, what are the ideas that are being launched, as well as hear about events that are happening, hear about jobs that are being posted, et cetera, et cetera. So it's an important place to come to stay in the know about what's happening with tech in Ann Arbor. And I would also say that everyone has their own goals for coming, so you have something in mind for why you came tonight and why you usually come to this event. But I encourage you to kind of look out for what other people, how you could help them while you're here, and try to give them a connection or a piece of advice, help them out with a problem that they have, and that can help make the kind of tech community that we want to be part of in Ann Arbor, one that's supportive and helpful, and looking out for everybody else. Afterwards, we are going to be at Pizza House for our pizza networking time. So Ann Arbor Spark is sponsoring our pizza again, and so right after these pitches, we'll be headed over there, and then we'll be networking a little bit more. It's a great chance to meet people and talk a little bit more if you don't get too much chance to talk here. In this room is not exactly built for networking, so come over there and mingle a little bit and meet some more folks. I already told one person about this since I got here, but our Slack channel, madeina2.com/Slack, is a great way to stay connected with the Ann Arbor tech community at large until the next meetup, and even people that won't be there and aren't here tonight. At that Slack channel is a communication tool that's used by the tech community here in Ann Arbor to share general announcements, open jobs, and a lot of other things. So definitely encourage you to go check that out, hear about tech events and things like that, and just stay in the loop. And that's madeina2.com/Slack. Quickly, I want to say thank you to some people and organizations that help make this meetup happen. Ann Arbor Geeks, or A2 Geeks, is a nonprofit dedicated to making southeastern Michigan and Ann Arbor a great place for geeks and creatives to live, work, and play. I've almost memorized that after 2 years now. Yeah. Roger Rayle from R2 Vibe does our video every month, so if you want to hire Roger for this type of work or other video work, look up R2 Vibe, and let's give Roger a round of applause for always doing our video. One thing Roger's asked is that if you do it in the Q&A portion tonight, since a lot of people are close, which is nice that people aren't spread out all the way over the room, wait to a count of 3 before you ask your question so he can swing the camera around and find you before you start talking. So if you can remember that, that'd be great. If you don't, we still love you. There are a variety of co-organizers who have made this event happen over the years. Doug Song, Zach Steinler, Scott Gosey, David Bloom, David Corcoran, Brian Kelly, Brooke Boyle, and others. And so I thank those people for just investing in this meetup and helping make it happen over the years. The Entrepreneurship at U of M Law Clinic the Entrepreneurship Clinic at U of M Law School is really instrumental in making this meetup happen. They get us this room every month, which is one of the only big spaces like this. that we could get probably for free, maybe the only one that would fit all of us in this room every month. Dana Thompson is the founding director of that law clinic, and or the law entrepreneurship clinic, and if you're a company in Michigan, especially a startup, you can get a variety of legal services from students here at the university through that entrepreneurship law clinic. So I encourage you to reach out to them. Laura Schiltz is their clinic administrator. If you look her up on their website, you can reach out and learn about the services that they offer, and maybe your company can take advantage of them. And then lastly, I mentioned Ann Arbor Spark. Ann Arbor Spark, if you're not familiar with them, they're committed to bringing together organizations and individuals to support the growth of companies and the creation of jobs. And they are sponsoring our Pizza at the Networking Time this month at Dominic's and have been for the last 2+ years. So we're really appreciative of that. And definitely join us over there to eat some of that Spark pizza after the meetup.
Wait, is it Dominic's or Pizza?
It's at Pizza House, thank you. Did I say Dominic's? Yeah, it's Pizza House. What?
Going to ask how many people are going to go.
I will ask at the end of this, so think about whether you're going to go or not. And at the end of this, I will ask. How many people are planning to join us over this while we're talking about it, I guess? Cool, good number. So, sounds good. Agenda for tonight. We're going to get started with pitches in just a second. We have 3 pitches. We worked to find more pitches to fill it up tonight, but the holidays, I think we're just encroaching on the number of people that are around to pitch. And so we already have, I think, 4 potential ones lined up for January, so don't fear, more pitches are coming. But it was just challenging tonight to get more. So we really appreciate the 3 companies that are pitching, making it happen tonight. So we're going to have 3 companies each do a 5-minute pitch and 5-minute Q&A afterwards. We'll then have community announcements time, like we usually do. So think about what your announcement is, maybe an event that you want to promote, or a job your company has posted, or a job that you're looking for, or a project you're working on that you want help with. And the last thing I'd say is if you want to ask a question during the question and answer time, please raise your hand, we'll call on you. And then it's tempting to give feedback. A lot of people in the room have a lot of experience with startups and companies, business development. So it's really tempting to give feedback when people are sharing their initial early ideas. But please ask it in the form of a question. You can share your feedback afterwards, one-to-one. But to make sure that they can engage the whole audience, that we keep things moving, the question and answer. Limit it to 1 question. So don't ask 2 questions in a row, please. Just 1 question at a time. And then move on to the next person. And then last one is, make sure it's in the form of a question so they can respond and really engage the whole audience. Sound good? Awesome. Okay, silence your phones. If you're tweeting or Instagramming, use hashtag A2NewTech, and we're going to get started. So our first pitch tonight is Wellnest, and we have 2 individuals from Wellnest who are pitching tonight, Mars Hovass and Jack Cornett. So you guys come on up and get plugged in. So Wellnest is a guided voice journal that prompts users to reflect on and improve their mental health. And so Mars and Jack are going to pitch Wellnest tonight. And interesting fact about them while they're getting set up and plugged in is that Mars is actually on the UMich boxing team. I did see her giving a couple punches over here in his arm, so confirmed. And Jack is really good at catching food in his mouth. So are you going to be at Pizza House later?
Yes.
So maybe we can test that
Smaller
out.
foods.
We'll get there, small foods. Little bites of pizza. And then your timer is going to be right down here, it'll be 5 minutes. And so I'll gently cut you off if you reach it. Okay. Lovely.
Perfect. All right. Hi guys, my name is Mars Hovass and this is Jack Cornett, and I'm the head of content at Wellnest. We are a team of 5 Michigan students studying cognitive science, computer science, business, and design, and we are on the mission of tackling the student mental health crisis. So to give a little bit of background, over the past few years we've seen a sharp increase in demand for student mental health services. Approximately 50% of students would rate their mental health as below average or poor. And with over 28,000 counseling appointments per year, schools are extremely overwhelmed and inadequately supplied to help serve their students. However, we also know that approximately 40 to 50% of these students that go into counseling are going in to seek solutions to deal with their problems that deal with anxiety and coping mechanisms for many of life's firsts. Firsts like their first time moving away from home, their first failed exam, or even their first serious relationship. And counseling departments regard these as stubbed toes versus broken toes. And these students want to be asked questions that we all want to be asked. Questions about our lives, our feelings, and how we're doing that day. Yet when students seek solutions, they often find apps that tell them how to feel. Apps that teach them things like reading exercises or meditation, rather than apps that help listen to them. And we believe that by asking the right questions, we can help students understand their feelings so that when they are confronted with these difficult life situations, we can help them better navigate their negative patterns of behavior. Yeah. Their negative patterns of behavior. Because when people are faced with challenges, they oftentimes react in one of three ways. Some people might go in circles about the problem and then push them aside, leading to no change. Other students might find themselves going down a path of a downward spiral where they create more negative behaviors, more negative tendencies, and a more negative outlook on life. But then there are a small handful of people who are able to find that silver lining, where people face a challenge and they come out with a better understanding of self and a lesson learned. And oftentimes that third path is the hardest one to find. So with that, we introduce Wellnest, which is a guided journaling app that is backed by cognitive behavioral therapy. So we ask questions that empower people to break down how their thoughts influence their emotions and how those emotions manifest themselves into their social behaviors. And by prompting students to identify more of these positive opportunities that come through hardships, we can help them alter their perspective on the world and create a better, healthier relationship with themselves. And now Jack is going to go through an app demo.
Thanks, guys. I'll make this quick. I think I got 2 minutes to show you how the app works, just in brief overview. All right, you guys can all see this, right? Okay. So this is the Wellnest home screen right here. Just stand up while I'm talking to you. And there are 3 types of journal entries you can make in our app. So at the top here is a plus icon, and if you click it, you make an entry that's called a free thought. And this lets you talk about whatever you want. There are no prompts that guide you towards anything. You just get to speak, and your response is transcribed for you. The next type of recording is a daily question right here, which is just one question that requires a quick response, and you get a new one every day. This one is what made you laugh today. And then our third type of entry is what's called a path. And these are curated lists of prompts that we have on specific topics. This one is about dealing with anxiety. So this is a huge list of a bunch of prompts that lead you through dealing with situations that make you anxious. I'll take you through how the recording flow works for a daily question. So if you choose to answer this one today, say answer, and you think of what made you laugh today, and when you're ready to say it, you press this big red record button. Speak into your phone. As I said earlier, your response is transcribed and stored for you. When you've said all that needs to be said, you click this stop button and add tags to your recording. So maybe I was feeling happy that day, and I had a lot of coffee, and I'm always tired, and I'm in love, and I was drawing. Okay, that's it. But that helps us find correlations with the things you're talking about and how you're feeling or what you were doing that day. And then after you make recordings, you can look back into your profile screen and see the progress that you're making on different topics. So here I can see what relationships I'm discussing. Here are all the names that I say when I'm speaking in my entries. And I can click into a specific name like Drew and see the tags that I choose for recordings where I'm talking about him, the other people I talk about when I'm talking about Drew, and I can read specific entries where I've talked about him. And you can do this for a bunch of different words and a bunch of different categories so that you can reflect on what you've said. Thank you.
All right, questions for these two? Right here.
How does the topic prompts, journals, and questions improve mental health? Have you worked with a psychiatrist or someone to measure it?
Yeah, I guess so. My background is in cognitive science, and I'm a student at the University of Michigan. So a lot of what I learn is cognitive behavioral therapy, which is like a big, scary, technical way of saying therapists like to ask you how you're feeling in a specific moment, rather than delving into things in the past or what you're worried about in the future. So that's a really big core of what I learned. We really want to stray away from acting as a therapist, and we want to go into the mindfulness space. So although I do consult a lot of my professors and read a lot of books on that, the way we're able to form these paths and prompts where we choose specific topics like anxiety or relationships, and we delve deeper into piecing it into 3 different segments, which is a practice in cognitive behavioral therapy, where it goes from how you think about the topic, and so you could dive into that and we'll ask a series of questions, and then it moves into your emotion, so how your emotion stems from those thoughts. and then finally how you behave, and then the way that you want to change your behavior. So we usually try and dive deep into the emotion and then find a conclusion that helps kind of mitigate that feeling. So the next time you're in a similar situation, you automatically know this is the behavior that I want to take.
Question right in the middle?
So I know that with a lot of medical like apps, if you're making claims that it's improving someone's health, you might need to like jump through some regulatory hoops or have some proof, like weight loss apps or something like that. Is that the case with this approach in this app?
Do we need to show proof that it helps?
Yes, I guess.
We do, yes, we do.
Okay.
We're going to offer a free version of the app. So this hasn't been developed yet, it's just a prototype. And our free version will be offered to students at a few different campuses that we're piloting at. And from that, we will see if it's helping people. If it's not, we'll iterate on that until it does, but very early stage right now. Yes, it does need to be proven helpful.
Question, Nick?
More specific follow-up to that is this app going to require, particularly managing the data, is it going to require HIPAA compliance? Are we talking about personal health information, or have you thought through the privacy aspects of this?
Yeah.
So we use Apple's speech kit for our speech-to-text model. And that means that we actually never touch the user's speech data. It's stored on their phone, but we don't have it at all. Can you elaborate on the HIPAA compliance, what that means exactly?
It basically deals with privacy of personal health information.
Right, okay, so yeah, we don't have it, the user has it on their phone. It goes to Apple for a second, and then they send it back, so you're relying on Apple and yourself to keep your data private. We actually never have any of it.
Other questions?
We have done a couple focus groups just with our prototype, and that led to a lot of features like this free thought button right here. At first we were just giving people paths and letting them respond to it, but people want to say whatever they want, it turns out. It also led to things like letting you type if you want. We want to push people to speak because it lets you flow through ideas more freely and not think about what you're saying as much. But if people do want to talk, if they're in a public space, then we give you the option to type if you want. And a lot of those focus groups just gave us a great opportunity to learn about who our users are, what their life goals are, what they need in their daily lives so that we can make sure that we're serving that well.
I have a question for you. What kind of plans do you have for monetizing the app going forward?
So we're starting with our free version, our minimum product, and then as we slowly build more features into the app, like that analytics feature I showed you over here, which is the flowers that grow and show you what you're talking about, that will be locked into a freemium model, as well as these are paths which we don't have the artwork for yet. But we can also lock away a certain number of paths or paths written by certain authors, and so that content will be available upon purchase.
One more question in the middle?
And since you guys are doing the voice recordings, do you plan to analyze the tone when somebody's recording and kind of measure based on like the emotion that you can read correctly when you're speaking to your app?
So our lead developer, who is not here today, he's at UCLA, and he's doing a PhD in emotion detection algorithms. So I can't tell you too much about how that works, but I know that he is working very hard on using data from the words that you say, but also tone of voice while you're speaking. It's like a 5-factor emotion detection model that can tell if you're angry or sad or whatever.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Alrighty, and our next pitch is Poisera. So Mariana is presenting this, Mariana Coppola.
Yeah.
And Poisera helps moms cultivate resilience during pregnancy and postpartum. And so as she's getting set up, a fun fact about her entrepreneurial career started here in Arbor at the street corner of Devonshire and Heather Way selling overly sour lemonade and rather dry cupcakes with too much blue frosting.
They make your teeth blue.
And she and her co-founder were hoping to raise enough money to go to space camp. So, are you still? That's still your target.
That's
space camp.
the dream with Poisera, that I can finally go to space camp. So thanks so much for being here tonight. As David introduced, my name is Mary Nicopola. I have a career in tech, healthcare here in the area. I was at Google, and then I've worked with a lot of health startups here. And yeah, the big life change for me was a year and a half ago. I gave birth, became a mom, and going through that transition, my mom had passed away 6 years ago, and this difficult process of learning to become a new individual without kind of the role model you would want to have with you along the way. And that was what inspired Poisera. And so to start, how many of you are parents? All right. And how many of you would say that was an easy life transition to go through? So yeah, it's not difficult. And right now I'm focused on moms, although in the future we want to create a product for fathers as well, because the challenges moms go through are the same for fathers as well, just in different ways. And it's just a really intense transition because you have these external pressures of what you expect to be as a mother and what society puts on you, what your family puts on you, all these other dimensions that you haven't really had a lot of time to think about, while simultaneously you have all of these physical, emotional, and mental transitions, and those are colliding into and creating a lot of stress for moms. And the types of questions that these moms start to ask themselves is what I'm experiencing normal? Am I a good mom? Am I selfish for focusing on my own needs? And if these questions are left unaddressed, they can very much lead to shame, guilt, feelings of inadequacy, just ignoring just basic self-care, and sense of isolation. And these things pop up for different moms in different ways, but all in all, almost makes the problem even harder for moms. So how are moms solving this problem today? I would say they're not. Any variety of books or podcasts and blogs, those can be helpful resources, but none of these can truly understand what's actually going on for that individual mom and consider all those different factors for themselves. And there's not a great data for this, but so we do know that at least 1 in 5 moms develop postpartum depression or some kind of perinatal mood disorder. There are some hints that this might be rising in our population. So I'm just going to jump to the demo itself. So what I have developed is a chatbot to help moms cultivate resilience. And I think that looks pretty well. So yeah, let's just start a check-in. And very similar, thank you, Ness, for introducing cognitive behavioral therapy and those types of things, because that is very much kind of the root of what we're trying to do. So you can select any of these different feelings, and then it just gives the mom a variety of options on what they want to deal with that day. So I'm going to kind of click through this very quickly and maybe not spend a whole lot of time, or as much time as a mom might do, but hopefully it can give you a flavor for what the mom might be experiencing or being asked. Baby won't sleep. And so this is like a typical cognitive behavioral therapy. So I'm not actually going to do this. But I guess the point that I want to illustrate here is, and what we've gotten feedback from moms is what's really helpful is giving them a moment to actually structure their thoughts and give them an experience of what's actually going on. Oh, no, I don't actually want to do that. So anyways, you can get a little flavor of what this is. And then each reflection or check-in closes with self-care, and it also asks what did they do for self-care the previous day as a way to create some accountability. So my time's up, but if you'd like to ask questions, I'd love to tell you about our beta, 77 moms. So there you go.
Awesome. Questions for Mariana?
How did you get that?
Totally word of mouth, and I just reached out to anyone and everyone I've ever met, mostly, even including Diana, who's here in the audience, who helped me get at least one beta user, so thank you. And then just posted on social media. So that was about 6 weeks ago, and that was kind of the flood of the initial group. My goal is 50. I got to 100 users. That broke everything. And so I've been kind of scurrying to try to patch things together, and now moving into a lot of user interviews with those to try to learn what's working, what's not. So yeah, go ahead.
Farther back.
You mentioned maybe similar products for husbands or fathers, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that means to support the father, but I'm wondering if you thought about a way to pull in the fathers as, I know I was basically a terrible husband. I have 3 kids in, and I still didn't sort of solve this part to coach that. And I mean, this is kind of like the bad husband replacement, the chatbot. Pull them in, coach them through it, or I guess the same kind of cues.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think one of the biggest challenges is that, moms are fed this message that like you need to do all the things, and especially very early on postpartum, the mom kind of takes responsibility for all those things and doesn't necessarily empower their partners to take as much care and share the load, and then in turn that leaves kind of the partner not really sure how to support and help. And I think there could be, if both partners are using the app, a lot of interesting data that could be passed between the 2 users to support one another where they are.
Other questions?
Yeah.
Are you planning on monetizing it?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the things that we're trying to suss out with the beta right now is what sort of the base level where people just jump in to try it, and then what are, as you were kind of demonstrating, what might be some of those premium features. And so interestingly, we're thinking of some of these paths, and another component is creating community. So a big challenge is, I might be going through something, but my, a close mom friend is going through something else, and it's really hard for us to actually connect and support one another. But if I could, go on like a virtual mom group hangout to talk through those issues, I get a lot of the support that I'd actually be needing in that moment.
Is it iPhone or desktop, browser, both?
So right now it's just a web app. So the way the mom gets access into the app is a daily text reminder. So they click their personalized link, and that enters them into their kind of chat bot, which then pulls the information of what's going on for them. So there's a lot of kind of early machine learning that we're trying to build in and grow in the future. What was your actual question?
iPhone app?
Oh yeah, so yeah, I think down the road, iPhone, Android.
Question back here?
You sort of simple health advice, baby's crying, is it bad when you see a doctor, or just when you see a doctor, also checklists, like, here's what you need to get, well, Toys R Us is on this.
Yeah.
But here's what you need to get when you get diapers.
Yeah, it's interesting. So that's a question I've had for a lot of my users is how deep do they want to get like baby specific advice? And most of the response has been, I can get that elsewhere. I can Google those lists. I can, the thing that does not exist in my life right now is someone asking about me. And I'm not doing a good job of asking what's going on with me. So this is the only thing that's reminding me to do that.
Question?
How do you plan to test the assertion of, is it a person they want that emotional connection to talk to somebody over the phone maybe, or is it access to information by a bot or API?
Like how does the chatbot do that?
Well, how do you test whether they need the advice and help to get the care, or is it they need a person, they just want to talk to somebody?
Right. You know, I think it's going to be just left to the user to some degree of starting with the chatbot, because that's sort of the easiest initial conversation, and then tacking on to the end. You know, is this something that would benefit, you know, further conversation with a human? So another option along those lines is adding telehealth. So enabling a mom to schedule an appointment with a like a psych therapist or perinatal mood therapist or something like that.
Cool.
Yeah, but leaving it up to the user.
One more question over here.
Where did the answers come from? Or the responses? Are they, I couldn't read, there's like it looked like 3 bullet points in the final word, or the main response there. What generates that?
So it's the algorithm? Is that your question? Like what's answering on the other side of the chatbot?
Yeah, is it just a series of questions, like here's a form of answers, or does it go search for answers somewhere else?
No, so a lot of it is sort of predetermined, knowing, okay, these are the types of topics that moms would be interested in, and then like the content is there. But there's a lot of learning edges that have been built in, so that if the topic that the mom is interested isn't in there, then that gets sent to me to then be like, oh, that's an opportunity.
Cool. That's all the time we got. Thank you. All right, and our last pitch tonight is Guarantee, and Leon Huang is here to pitch Guarantee. Guarantee is a web-based residential rental platform that integrates rental marketplace and property management solution to empower individual property investors and renters to handle all renting activities in one place. Interesting fact about Leon, he said he would not do anything related to real estate in high school, so he went to electrical and computer engineering school and business school. Now he's building a residential renting platform that's related to real estate. It's hard to get rid of your dad's impact. Your timer will be right here.
Good evening. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. Can I ask a quick question? If you ever been a landlord or tenant, can you raise your hands? Cool. So we want to build a residential renting platform, basically to integrate rental marketplace and the property management solution to empower property investors and renters to handle everything in one place. So the business is to make money is to charge commission from landlord and also charge money from like selling service and product. And the current renting process is overly complicated because of inefficient process, fragmented search market, and lack of guidance. And property investor, many cases, they don't have a process. Then they do everything they can to find renters. Sometimes they just wait, and the renters, many times they feel they don't have choices and lack of support. And they talk with friends, social media, and sometimes just stuck with what they can get. So in our vision, this process can be much better with greater experience. So, oh, by the way, what's happening in the industry right now is there's intense intention between supply and demand. The supply side, I would say, the demand side, the people are very sensitive to price, and then the rent just increase and getting more and more expensive and unaffordable. And yes, there's the more and more people are renting, mobility, people move to the big city, and then there's a cyclical issue because people feel it's harder to rent, especially in the peak time because the cyclical issue. And then there's people are getting used to on-demand solution. And right now, the mom and the pop they can't afford to have that kind of solution and left behind the big business entity. So we want to create a solution to give people with great experience, fast and cheap, so it empower people to handle everything in one place and list and search a rental and also roommates in one place. And we want to reduce the time. We want to automate as much as we can. And also we want to handle the maintenance and the financial transaction. What's more, we want to build a renting history for landlord so they can differentiate from others, and also help renter to rent easier in the future. So this is our product, kind of the four steps. The first one is just kind of like a list and search, that kind of marketplace, and then handle those documents online. And the other is we want to give them a little bit extra so they can move before they move in. They already can set up the apartment. For example, like a furniture, used mattress, and also the insurance, so they can select those, and also manage the daily transaction. This is our kind of we're building this right now. This is just show you how it looks like. And right now we have 4 people, 2 full stack software developer and 1 UX UI designer and me. We plan to launch this product in early, I would say, the controller testing early next year, and then into production later next year, like for 2020. So that's it. Any question?
All right, questions for Leon?
Have you gotten anybody into a house yet? Have you worked with anybody as roommates or otherwise?
Yes, so we are landlord, we're renters. We have interviewed a lot of people, use all this kind of demo wireframe. We're still developing the website. Most people like this.
I was wondering, so when I think of from the landlord's perspective, there's other options for listing your rental, like like Craigslist or Zillow or something, and what is to attract them to your product instead of one of the other websites that already exist?
Yeah, so because it was 5 minutes, so I didn't present this one. So you look at the competition in this industry. The left side is for service management. It's like Oxford, Great Start, the biggest company in the United States. And then the right side, Airbnb, that's like vacation. So it gives you understanding about this domain. And then in the middle, that's a Craigslist, like Zillow. They sit in the middle. They want to do not just mom and pop, but also apartment. They want to integrate and focus on searching. And offside, we want to focus on extremely right side. So that's our value proposition.
What differentiates your offer from student.com Urban Door?
Yeah. So student.com is focused on very niche market. Student.com, they originate from Europe, and they only focus on students. And then Flip, they only focus on sublease. Urban Door is only focused on corporate businessmen.
And can I just follow up? It seems like in that category, the play has been to focus on a niche. Do you have plans on finding a niche?
Yeah, so cool. This is our focus. Based on our research and also the urgency, we will focus on the mom and pop investor, that's the supply side, and also sublet. A little bit like a small company at the beginning. The other side is more like a B2B solution. And then demand side, we will kind of focus on digitalization and price sensitivity, which means those people, they are unable to check on site. So really, they can only do online. Yeah.
Other questions? Right here, Dan.
I'm wondering about legal ramifications. Basically, you seem to streamline and simplify the process. That means that there is legal aspects.
Yeah. Yeah. So this part I'm not quite sure yet, since I right now I don't have a lawyer to help me answer this question. But we believe if we just focus on the service, I would say connecting two parties and charge only booking service, booking commission, we will not be fall into the category like a broker.
In the back?
Are you going to include maintenance on this too?
Say again?
Maintenance, so like if the tenant, let's say, has a broken water or something's a problem with their apartment, you can make this kind of a one-fits-all platform for all this?
So that's we are not a property management company. We only provide a connection between maintenance people and landlord, and we want to build a specific site for investment property investors.
Any last questions? Time for one more. Front row right over here.
So it seems like you're capturing a huge experience that has multiple steps. So other people have solved certain steps of that experience, looking for a house or buying furniture. Those exist in two different companies somewhere. How do you guys tie different steps of someone's journey through this in one platform? How can it be simple if there are so many parts?
Yeah, I think that's the most challenging part about this residential renting. It's a long tail and make harder for business to make money, like zero, to make money and just put a lot of resource on this. The other side is it's harder to manage those moving parts and also stakeholders. That's why we want to focus on the I would say the core needs. And then that's many people don't have guidance, and they don't have process, and a lot of manual back and forth communication. So we want to focus on this part first, and then later on, those kind of add-on service and a product. That's just like a future. I would say maybe 2 or 3 years later, because based on it, when we talk with the people, just like that gentleman. There's needs in that category, and we can feel that needs. And what they really want, they just want to find that people directly. And based on the stakeholder in this, I would say, workforce in this industry, we can build direct connection between landlord and maintenance people, and remove the middleman.
All right, that's all the time we got. Thank you. Now it's time for our community announcements. So if you want to make a community announcement, go ahead and line up in front of this whiteboard over here. So this could be for any variety of things like a job that you're looking to hire for, a job you're looking for, a partner, an event you want to promote. And so please keep these from 1 to 2 minutes. So be prompt about your time, 1 to 2 minutes, so we can move along quickly. When you make your announcement, you can come up and stand right where I am here, so Roger can get you on the camera. And then Diana, if you want to come up and be the first one, everyone can just come up one at a time after her.
Hey folks, I'm Louise. I run the Venture Accelerator at U of M Tech Transfer, but this has very little to do with my day job. Detroit Startup Week is coming up in June, and the call for proposals is out. Basically, you can come up with a interesting program that you'd like to see at Detroit Startup in June, and pitch it. It then gets voted. I feel that our ecosystems, and Arbor and Detroit, are kind of always pitched against each other. So I'd love to come up with something useful that really does an Ann Arbor Detroit thing at Detroit Startup Week, and I'd love to brainstorm with people about that. I'm not telling you what to do, I'm telling you we should do something, and I'm happy to facilitate. I'll write my name on the board. Come find me over beers and pizza.
I'm Adam Oxner. I'm a co-founder and CTO of a company called My Swim Pro. We make a swimming app and a triathlon app. I have two asks. One is we will be growing in 2020. We're looking for senior iOS and Android developers, as well as marketing people, especially if you have experience in the swimming and fitness space. In addition, please come talk to me if you swim or do triathlon. I would just love to talk shop with you. And then I'm already forgetting what my other one was. But maybe that was the two. So come talk to me about swimming and triathlon. Thanks.
Hi everyone, my name is Olivia Haber. I'm the president of A2Entrepreneurs. We're a student group at Washtenaw Community College, and we have meetups similar to this. So if anyone is interested, our meetings for next semester are January 29th, February 19th, March 25th, and April 15th. So those are on Wednesdays at Washtenaw Community College if anyone's interested in coming to the meeting or presenting.
What time are they?
Oh, they're from 5 to 7. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Max McCann. I've been coming here for many, many months now, and I really appreciate the help from David, the small business development group, and Spark in general. I was able to work with a couple of customers, create a minimal viable product, work with a couple of partners in New York, and successfully I did the thing. I'm getting paid to do the startup idea that I suggested. So just want to say thank you to the group and everyone here who shows up and supports all these awesome people. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Ryan. I'm starting a company in town called JazzDac, where we're creating the fantasy football of music. So I'm really excited to talk to anybody who might be really passionate about music and trying to change what is a passive music discovery process and trying to gamify it and make it more proactive to help emerging musicians. So if you're interested in learning more, possibly being a beta user, or possibly even joining our team because we are growing in 2020, please come see me afterwards. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Rayle Roberts. I work with the transit agency here in Ann Arbor, Nipsey, The Ride. We're developing some innovative mobility priorities for the next 5 years, and I talked to David before this. I'm trying to find a good forum in the new year for getting some feedback on some of the directions that we might be headed. You guys seem like a great audience. I'd love to talk more after this, but if you have any other ideas, please let me know. Thanks.
I'm back. I remember the second one. It's not even that exciting. But because we're growing, the company's growing, our engineering team is growing, and I'm experiencing some troubles of growing an engineering and product team. So if you want, I'm looking for any advice that you might have about growing a product team or any resources that you have, especially books I like to read. So that's it. Thank you.
Hi again. I didn't get to this part of my pitch, but I would also like to grow my team, specifically developers, content creators, marketing space, and really qualifications would just be passion for maternal mental health, chatbots, machine learning, and that kind of stuff.
Hi guys, my name's Harsh. I've recently moved near Ann Arbor area, and I've had a master's in business management, and I have experience in business development, marketing, hospitality. I'm in the middle of a career transformation right now. I want to get into the IT sector, and that's why I'm kind of looking at roles like project coordinators, business analysts, client solutions, because that complements my background best. I'm going to be there at the event, so anybody who has some links who can share with me or any suggestions you all have to make this career transformation, I'm going to leave my email and number as well. More than welcome. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, my name's Turner. I moved to Ann Arbor probably 3 months ago. I'm a VC investing in startups. My network's mostly in San Francisco, LA, and New York. I don't know very many people here. So if anything in what I just said is interesting to you, would love to chat afterwards. Thanks.
Well, thanks for all the announcements. Even the 2 announcements, that was great. 2 rounds of applause. So we're always on the 3rd Tuesday of every month. So that means that next month in 2020, we'll be meeting on January 21st, Tuesday. And we do have 1 space open for pitches in January right now. And we have lots of room in February. So if you want to pitch or you know someone who should, you can email us at organizers@A2NewTech.org. Criteria that we look for in companies that would pitch is that you've done some customer validation, spoken to customers at least, ideally even have a pay customer or beta customers, and then hopefully you've built a prototype as well, since that can be really easy. So at least one team tonight that had a prototype built out that was really high fidelity, gives you a really good sense of what they want to build, and so it's pretty easy to do that these days, and so we encourage you to do that, and ideally have that when you pitch so people can see what you're imagining. In the meantime, before next meetup, again, you can find us at madeina2.com/Slack. And that's a Slack channel. You can stay in touch with everybody from the tech community here in Ann Arbor. I would also check out madeina2.com if you haven't done that before. I'm sure that was someone else earlier tonight. In terms of keeping track of some of the tech companies in town, looking at what jobs they might have posted. There's a kind of a directory of tech companies at that website, madeina2.com. So check that out. A bunch of us are going over to Pizza House after this for pizza, and sponsored by Ann Arbor Spark. So Pizza House is at 618 Church Street. It's a few blocks away, so maybe walk with someone from the group. Come chat a little bit more and meet some people from the meetup and do some mingling. So thanks for joining. We'll see you guys in 2020 next time. And thanks for another great year of Ann Arbor NewTech meetup.